All right, show me the money. One edition here we're doing on the podcast this week. We're going to do our annual NFL over/under picks here for win totals. Join me today, a great tradition on this podcast. The great Joe D'Alizio is back. Joe, how are you?
Mike, I am doing well. Always a pleasure. Show me the money, baby. Even though I'm not making much with when I come on this segment, but always a pleasure to be with you, Mike.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we talked. I think it might have been the Super Bowls the last time you were on the podcast.
I know it's been a while. I thought, maybe you've moved on. You found someone new to kind of to join you for these episodes. But I'm glad to be back, as always. You know that.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of fun here. So before we get going here, give catch up. How's the summer going? How's everything going in the life of Joe?
Summer is going well. Ironically enough, show me the money. I just got back from my trip in Italy, and guess what movie I watched on the plane?
Jerry Maguire.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic. Had to do it. Had to do it. There were a lot of new releases on the American Airlines flight that I took, but I said, you know what? I cannot sit on this plane and not watch Jerry Maguire. Incredible. Incredible. But yeah, everything's good, summer's, it's football season. Football season's right around the corner, so there's a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to talk about baseball season anymore. It's football season.
I mean, what is a baseball? I don't want to. If you're going to ask me a baseball question, I may hang up right now.
Yeah, we're not talking like baseball. We're pretending it didn't happen this year. We just skipped 2023.
What is baseball? Well,
yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, let's get to the football here. Obviously, both teams are very high hopes here, and my team with your former quarterback is in the headlines right now here. Have you had a chance to check out any Hard Knocks of the Jets this year or no?
You see that sign behind me?
Yeah.
Should I take it down? I am a little bit behind. I will say that because of my trip. We are recording this right after the release of the third episode. If I'm not mistaken, I watched the first one. And I watched everyone go goo goo gaga over Aaron Rodgers being the new quarterback of the New York Jets, and rightfully so. Hard Knocks is great though. It's a staple, and what's great about it is not only like the storylines, but when it starts, you're that much closer to football season.
Yep. We've been doing weekly coverage here on the podcast for Hard Knocks as the Jets are on it here. So it's been a fun, like diving deep into every episode, catching up all the storylines. There's been a lot going on.
What are your overall thoughts of how Hard Knocks and the New York Jets are being portrayed right now?
I think it's pretty accurate to what's been going on this summer. Obviously, they're making Rodgers look very good because obviously he's giving them a lot on the camera wise in terms of like stuff being produced. So, like, the only thing I'm through 2.5 episodes, not finished this week's yet as of recording here. Surprised they've not gotten to the bottom of the roster yet. We got a lot of star power over the first couple episodes. We had one big epic rant from Salah at the offensive line play last week. That was very memorable.
Yeah. Again, like I said, I only watched one episode, and from that first episode, it was pretty much embracing like, hey, Aaron Rodgers is our guy, and he does things that nobody else could do, and he's a great person, and we love him here, and we're excited to have him.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure here. And let's go to the other side. Go to the Giants here. They're not talking about them as much in camp because they've been a little quieter in terms of taking care of their business here. They made the playoffs last year. Now we'll see. I think Vegas does not expect big things out of them this season. How do you feel about the Giants?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I am on the opposite side of Vegas when it comes to the New York Giants. And sometimes, you got to work quietly to, get your work done and show people that, hey, you're ready. And I think this is an important year for Brian Dable. This is an important year for Daniel Jones to kind of show everybody what they've been doing silently on the field very soon. I think the Giants, just like the Jets, are poised for big years.
Yeah, that's for sure here. And let's get into what we're here to do here, which is our annual NFL over-under picks. We're doing 3 overs, 3 unders, courtesy of the Athletics lines here they provided. So we're going to go off of those. So obviously, like, you want to just go double or nothing here on the sandwich bet?
Wouldn't it be like triple or nothing at this point? I feel like I didn't pay you from the last one.
Yeah, we could just do double or nothing. Call it that.
All right, we'll just do double or nothing. But instead of a sandwich, maybe we have a little bit of a sit down instead. Because at this point, especially if I lose, you deserve a sit down at least.
All right. So as the guest, I'll give you the first choice here. Would you like to go with the first pick or second and third? After that, we'll snake every other pick.
Okay, I'm going to go with the first pick. I like the first pick always.
All right. So you had the first pick. What are you going to do with it?
Okay, first pick, I am going with the Patriots, and I am going under 7.5. We're officially in that era where the Patriots are the worst team in the AFC East. Crazy, right? Because
I love it.
since we started watching football, like that was definitely not the case. Last year 7-9-1. Mac Jones. I think he's serviceable. I think he's a franchise quarterback. Fourth hardest schedule. Obviously, it doesn't help playing in the AFC East. They're playing 10 teams with this season that had a winning record last year. Bill Belichick, great coach, not a great team. Give me the under.
I love the under here too. Is my number one pick on the underside. So you get that one here because look at that roster here. I mean, you have Mac Jones, not a great quarterback, not even hold that job for long. If Bailey Zappi ends up overtaking him, they don't have a ton of weapons on the outside. Their defense is very good, but I mean, with all those great teams you're playing, you need good quarterback play to win some of those games. I don't think they have enough of it.
Yeah, and I just don't think they have enough on the defensive side to stop the high-powered offenses just in their division alone. That's 6 games.
All right, so Joe's on the board. I'll start out here. First over, I think you kind of know where I have to go with this one.
Let me guess. The New York Jets.
Yep. Jets over 9.5 here. And this is one that surprised me because I've seen on the Athletic and an article I sent you that we got the lines from that they are the third most bet under by the public, which makes me love the fact I'm going the other way here because this team is loaded. Rodgers is going to have a lot of help on his hands. The offensive line is coming together. Dwayne Brown came off the pup list. He's back. Mekhi Becton is going to be the right tackle, so that's going to be fortified here. And I think that they're due for this year where everything goes their way. They had no luck the last 10 years in terms of stuff going their way. I think even with tougher schedule, even with the tough division, I think they're getting at least double-digit wins. I think they have a good shot to win the division outright. So I'm going to take the Jets over the 9.5.
Very smart technique there, going against the public because usually the public's wrong. So well done on your behalf for that. When it comes to the Jets, obviously there's high expectations. I think the biggest question mark for the New York Jets is the offensive line, right? If this offensive line can protect Aaron Rodgers, the Jets are going to be just fine and they're going to hit that over with no problem. But if that offensive line is struggling, which we've heard that they've had their struggles throughout camp this summer, that could be problematic. Do I think they could get 10 wins? They should. It's very difficult, though, as I mentioned, the division that they're in, the conference that they're in, but 10 wins should be a minimum for this team.
Yeah, that's the lock I'm taking off the board here. That's the easiest number one for me. Number two here, this is another one where I'm going against the public again here. So I feel very good about this one. And you did too, because they're second biggest on the handle with the Patriots over 7.5. That's the best bet over ticket. So public loves the Patriots for some reason here. Public also loves the Steelers as an over. I'm going the other way, under 8.5 here. You watched this team last season. You saw that they needed basically to pull smoke rats out of their hats down the stretch to go over the 9-win mark and get Tomlin another winning season here. I think that run ends this year. You have a healthier Browns team. You have Deshaun Watson the whole season. Ravens are not going to miss Lamar Jackson most of the way. The Bengals are elite. The AFC is tough. I don't think Kenny Pickett's that good. I think he's a game manager. I think they have questions in the running game. Their defense is good, but could use some overall help. But I'm taking the Steelers on the under here.
Yeah, I like that one a lot, Mike. And the biggest reason why is that Kenny Pickett, I serviceable, great way to put it. Other than that, he's not going to give you that much. And they're in a tough division. And again, I think a lot of people like the over in this one because of the team that they are, the history that they have. They figure, okay, Mike Tomlin last year figured it out and got to 500. They should probably take a step in the right direction. I see the logic behind your pick here, though.
Yeah, that's for sure. You're up now. What's your next pick? You have used your first under, so you have all three your overs and 2 unders to go.
Do I get to give you 2 right now?
Yeah, we're going 1-1-1-1-1 the rest of the way.
Oh, come on. You didn't tell me that.
I did say that a few minutes ago.
You're right. Okay, so I will stay with the unders. All right, and I'm going to take the Colts under 6.5. Big reason why is what is actually going on in Indianapolis right now. Obviously, by now everyone knows the Jonathan Taylor saga. I don't think, by the way, that the Colts are going to get first-round value if they end up trading JT. But I also don't think JT is going to end up playing with the Colts this season. Why am I going under, though? The main reason why, this is a Colts team that was towards the bottom of the NFL last year. Both sides of the ball, scoring only 17 points per game. On the defensive side of things, They were giving up 25 points per game. Yes, they drafted a rookie quarterback. That is also a big question mark, right? First time rookie quarterbacks getting thrown out there. It's a lot of pressure. They don't always succeed. They don't always have that great track record. Um, so for those reasons, that is why I'm going under 6.5 with the Colts.
I like that pick as well. The Taylor thing is a big distraction that they don't really need. Plus, people don't realize that Anthony Richardson, yes, he won the job. He only played 13 games in college. It's a big learning curve to go from basically one season of starting to an NFL starter.
Oh, it's a tremendous learning curve. And again, I go back to the fact that there are not many rookie quarterbacks that come in and blow the league away. Right? It is very difficult and it's going to take some time. I'm not saying Anthony Richardson is not going to be a good quarterback. I don't know if he will be, but it's a lot for a first year quarterback to expect from a first year quarterback.
Yeah, for sure. Here. Next up here, I'm back up here. I'm going to go with another over on my list. I'm going with the Jacksonville Jaguars over 9.5 wins here.
You
And
can't do that. You can't do that because that was on my list. All right. Damn it. That was on my list.
you should have had the opportunity to take it.
Ah, well, you beat me to it.
Yeah.
I was gonna, you know why? Because my strategy here is I already did the two unders. Now I'm gonna just finish out the unders and go with all the overs. But you took it. I love it. I love it. You didn't even give me an explanation. I love it already.
Yeah, well, I mean, we are 3-3, so you need like one more under anyway. So
Of course.
yeah, but in terms of the Jaguar over here, I mean, the number is 9.5. And I look at it, their division is terrible. They could easily sweep the Colts and the Texans. That's 4 wins, in my opinion. If they split with Tennessee, which I think is likely, 5 wins. You tell me the rest of their schedule, they have an ascending quarterback, they have improved skill position weapons here, they have a good defense. Like I can't get I think the Jaguars are a double-digit team, they win the division. I think 9.5 is a lock.
Yeah, I agree with that. One of the main reasons is the fact that that division is probably one of the worst in the league, if not the worst. And the offense just screams absolute potential with Trevor Lawrence taking another step forward in his career. And by the way, they get Calvin Ridley, who we don't know what he's going to be like, but it's a huge X factor. And if he's solid, then wow, they just got a lot better. And this could be a team. I'm not saying a Super Bowl team, but this could be a team that could be pretty sneaky in the playoffs and maybe win a game or two in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's for sure. Here, next up here, you're back up here. You have all 3 of your overs left and one under to go. So what are you gonna do?
Okay, I am going to just finish up with the unders. All right, this is going to be a little bit surprising, I think. Um, I'm going under 9.5 for the Detroit Lions. Obviously, there's a lot of buzz around this team after the year that they just had, but I think they do take a step back. I still think there are some concerns at the wide receiver position. They're extremely thin. I don't like what they did at the running back position, getting rid of Jamal Williams. Yes, they brought in David Montgomery. They drafted someone. I think that was a step in the wrong direction. Their defense also had a lot of struggles last season, and they didn't improve that much on that side. And I just don't think this offense is built to go toe for toe or shot for shot with other teams that could score at will. They also lost a lot of close games last year. So this could have been a team that was a lot worse than their record actually shows.
Yeah, so basically, Joe is saying the Lions are overhyped.
Yeah, I think they are. I think they are. I mean, what have the Lions done or what did the Lions do last year that they deserve this much hype?
Good question. I don't know.
Exactly, right? You don't know. There's no denying they had a great year. But did they get better from the year that they had? I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they did either here. I'm gonna go now here. I still have like 2 unders and one over left. I'm gonna go back to the underside here. This one, the number is so high, I just don't understand it based on what they did the offseason. The Saints are not winning 10 games this year. That division is terrible. I don't think they're that good. I think Derek Carr is overrated. I mean, the Calvin Kamara suspension is a problem for me. I think that they have not much on the receiving side besides Chris Olave. Wake me up, Michael Thomas stays healthy for a season. The defense getting a little older here. Under 9.5 on the Saints.
Yeah, I think part of that is just the idea that the division is weak, so that obviously helps the strength of schedule for them, and the hope that they brought in a guy like Derek Carr that could win a few games that they would have lost last year. But I agree. I don't think it's that high. It's a little bit too high for them.
All right. Next up here, all 3 are overs, Joe. What's your first one?
Okay, so my first one, you're gonna love this one. Over 7.5 for the Green Bay Packers. Now, of course, go ahead.
I knew that was coming.
Call me a homer. spoiler alert for anyone listening to the podcast, if you didn't already know, yes, I am a Green Bay Packers fan. But I really like this number. Anything higher, I would have been a little bit more skeptical. If you would have said 8.5, I would have probably said no. Obviously, it's a new era in Green Bay. New quarterback, Jordan Love has the opportunity now to really show what he can do and what he is going to be in this offense. But what really excites me about this team is number one, Jordan Love. All things sound like he's pretty decent. He's not horrible, which is a positive. But you pair that with the young skill position players that they have at wide receiver, at running back, at tight end, with an already decent offensive line. The offense screams potential that if Jordan Love is good, that they're going to be a team, not only this season, but an offense moving forward that's going to be fun and must watch football. All right. And again, it all is on the shoulders of Jordan Love, because if he goes out there week 1, week 2, week 4, week 7, and he is garbage, then this team's going to be pretty bad. And I think the lack of play that we've seen from Jordan Love is making people kind of shy away from that 7.5 and maybe going a little bit back and taking the under here. But if he could be half decent, I think this team can win at least 8 games. But time will tell. Also, I think it helps that I don't think the NFC North is very good.
No, not really.
I don't think they're good. I mean, I think Minnesota's Minnesota. I think Detroit takes a step back. And is Justin Fields in Chicago going to be better? I don't think so.
Yeah. Speaking of NFC North Valley here, I'm going to take another over here. I'm going to stay in the division. I'm going to take the Vikings over 8.5 wins, which I saw this number. I'm like, this seems very, 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 very low. I mean, yes, they won. They were a fraudulent 13-4 last year. I'm not going to deny that. They got bounced by the Giants in the first round here. But you're telling me that if I take the number at its word here, they're going to be 5 games worse when they only lost Dalvin Cook and Adam Thielen, really, and they brought in Brian Flores to help improve the defense, to put some resources into the defense here. I think this team is still going to win 9 games, being the wild card hunt. I don't think they're going to be 13 wins again. May not even win double digits, but I think 8.5 is too low. I think I'm going to take the over.
I think you got good value there with that number. I think it really depends on how this defense performs. I think that's going to be the biggest thing. And you mentioned they bring in Flores to help bolster that defense and be better coached, but will that result? Do they have the manpower on the field to show those results?
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. You have 2 overs left, Joe. Where are you going?
Well, I know where I'm going with one. I have no idea what I'm going to go with the third, so that should be interesting. So this one, I'm going Giants over 7.5. You took the over on the local Jets. I'm taking the over on the local Giants. I love the Giants at 7.5. I think they take another step forward in this Brian Dable, Daniel Jones offense. I love what they did for Daniel Jones. They brought in wide receivers. They brought in Darren Waller, who, yes, big question mark, can he stay on the field? But if he can stay on the field, I mean, screams top 3 tight end in the league. I'm high on the New York Giants. I could see this team winning almost 10 games.
Yeah. I think the thing that made me lean the over with them too is that, like, again, the coaching matters a lot. I think that's not getting factored in here. They're one of the popular ones that people are betting the under in Vegas. A lot. I think the third most popular in terms of handle, in terms of going on the betting against the Giants this year. I think you factor in here. Ryan Dable's a great head coach. He had a very bad roster last year. Guys at the playoffs that won a playoff game with it. Upgraded. Yes, the schedule's more difficult. Yes, the division is not great, but you're telling me this team's gonna be a 7-win team. I don't buy it.
I don't either. I don't either, and that's why I love that number.
All right, so my last one here is an under here. I'm gonna go with one. I feel like this team is getting overrated because their head coaching higher. I think the quarterback is cooked. Denver under 8.5 wins. I don't think the Broncos are that good. I have issues with bringing back Javonte Williams off the ACL injury. Sean Payton's already getting himself in the headlines for the wrong reasons. He basically calling out Nathaniel Hackett, a very low blow move for one coach calling out another coach. And I don't think Russell Wilson is like that good. He was declining in Seattle. He goes to Denver. He's doing his own diva act, and the Broncos fall off the face of the earth last year. They still play in a tough division in the AFC West. They have the AFC to deal as a whole. Like, I don't think see where the upside is that Denver's a winning team. I don't think they're there.
Yeah, I mean, it really is going to fall on how Russell Wilson plays under new head coach, right? if Payne can motivate him to get him back to somewhat where he was, but there's a lot of question marks out there.
Yeah, so I'm off. I'm done. So now you're up for your last pick. It's one more over.
One more over. You're really killing me here with this. This is not going to be anything too sexy. I'll be honest with you. I am going to take the Bengals over 11.5. Why am I taking the Bengals over 11.5? I think this is the year for the Bengals. I think this is the year where Joe Burrow continues to cement his name in the NFL as a top quarterback. I think, I was looking at the Chiefs at a similar number. I think this is the year that the Chiefs may take a slight step back, not a huge step back, but I think this is an opportunity for the Bengals, for that offense, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, and Joe Burrow to take it to that next level.
I like that pick a lot because, to be honest with you, in my preseason projections, I had the Bengals win the Super Bowl this year, so I could definitely find that.
Yeah. I really think this could be the year for them, and if they don't do it now in this window, I'm not sure when they will.
Yeah, for the record, my pick right now is Bengals over 49ers. That's my Super Bowl pick.
I like the Bengals. I'm not sure if I love the Niners.
Yeah. I think the Niners is more of a shot to get home field out of the West than the Eagles do in the East. That's my rationale.
That definitely makes plenty of sense, and the rationale is absolutely there. But I just don't know if I love the whole quarterback situation in San Fran right now.
Yeah, so to reset here, here's what we have on the board. Joe's picks at the Patriots under 7.5, the Colts under 6.5, the Lions under 9.5, Green Bay over 7.5, the New York Football Giants over 7.5, and the Bengals over 11.5. How are you feeling about your picks?
I mean, my picks always feel great before anything actually happens, and then you talk to me midway through the season, and half of them are out. So it is what it is. Who doesn't feel comfortable when they're giving their picks out?
Yeah, that's true. My picks here: Jets over 9.5, the Steelers under 8.5, Jacksonville over 9.5, New Orleans under 9.5, Minnesota over 8.5, and the Broncos under 8.5. Those are our over/under picks for the 2023 NFL season.
I'm beating you this year, Mike. I'm beating you.
We'll see what happens, Joe. Thanks for all the time. Really appreciate it. If you want to follow on social media, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, just give me a shout on Twitter at Joe _DA.
Yeah, don't forget
ISIO. Don't forget the double underscore.
Yeah, you forget the double, you won't find him.
You won't find me.